Welcome back, everybody, to Baldur's Gate, episode 52, the after show.
I need a smoke and a pancake after this show. There's been so much lore that has gone on.
So happy with it. You guys killed it. What a great day off. I needed an extra hour on top of what we did.
When do we get Bive to do our lore videos?
Soon.
Yeah.
Need it.
Needed.
Mixer soon?
Hey, and I'm confident Bife's ability to interpret my shitty wiki can't be any worse than D1 Grimoires. He may be the only man to do it.
There was one man who could do it, and he had an English accent, which makes him even more sexy.
Sounds like he drove a Ford as well.
You ever been hit with a wet spaghetti noodle?
Every day.
That's what it's like to drive an F-250.
Well, we started out the episode talking and giving Adam shit, and it was perfect because you started out hot. You threw a 20 while you're dream walking and gained some new abilities while you did it inside the elf song.
Yeah, that was pretty. I didn't know what to expect, but I don't know. I just loved that whole kind of trance, out of body, but like still there kind of experience, and like going through kind of like the history of the Elf Song Tavern and like seeing, you know, incredible people and you know, all of that. I don't know. It was just a really like kind
Got to work in Minsk and Boo, man.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet. It was pretty dope.
And see them in different stages. Very, very, very cool. And to get her name now for the first time, and what the secrets of the elf song are now yours.
Yeah. I gotta figure out how to. I'm like, okay, I gotta process that one. How am I gonna like? What am I gonna do with that information? But it was good. I mean, it was good. It was interesting. I kind of, man, this whole episode was just really freaking good. I mean, it started good and it just kept going. I was like, man, this is just one thing after another.
I gotta reward the 20, and now you have the you know, the waking eye. So you have a little bit of protection now while you're dream walking as well. Still have to make a roll, but you have a chance for protection. Yeah. Still haven't seen Chikios, but you were inside. Yeah. You were dream walking inside of an area that's so full. It's almost, you know, its own level of dense that's there that you have to kind of wade through. And I wanted to respect that.
I thought about that too, like as we're going through and then like talking, and like, man, I'm like, it like randomly popped into my head, like really, I was like, man, Asher is like really starting to worry about Chikios. Like, it's just like, man, this is like the longest he's been without talking to him, and like and then also like he's just really questioning himself again. Like he's like, you know, and then of course we get to this amazing scene with Becca and this whole axe and all of that stuff, and I roll a 1 on my detect magic, so then I can't like do this properly, and I'm like, what? And then at that moment I'm like, okay, Asher's like, what is wrong? What is happening to me right now? Like, what is going on? Like, you know, it's like I can't do anything right, you know, and the group still doesn't know like how he feels, and he keeps like just pushing it off because he doesn't like, but then he's like, this is the simplest thing I could do. Like, this is at the bare minimum of my capabilities, is just to help identify so that she can figure this out. And it was like, I couldn't even do that. And he was just like, nope, I gotta go. I can't, like, I can't, like, and just left. And it was just like, but it's like so much compounding things. And I'm like, man, this is like a whole other ride for Asher right now of like, oh my God, I don't even know how this is gonna go.
I'm glad you did. It fit how you were playing the last 24 hours with him, so it fit perfectly, and it gave Gitzi time to be Gitzi.
Yeah, and that was, I mean, I enjoyed the fun part of that build up of like, you know, oh, like, well, there's all these different kinds of runes and sigils, and, you know, there's all these different areas of magic, you know, and he just kind of goes into like the thing of like, I'm just going to default. Here's everything you ever needed to know that you didn't ask for. And then it's so funny that like, she's sitting there like, yeah, okay. All right. Like, cool. Like, and then on the flip side of it, she's like, well, a weapon is like part soul and part. I'm like, yep, okay, all right. Just like we both are going back and forth, like, yeah, okay.
You both
all right,
don't want to
cool.
hear each other's shit.
Information dump.
It was so fun. I was just like, oh man, this is so fitting. We're both like, we don't really want to hear, but like we want to hear it, but like the condensed version. It's so good.
You wouldn't even gotten this trip had it not been for the community throwing out some item eyes that we're able to retrieve in a different way. And it took me a long time to think about like how I was going to deliver these item eyes inside the city that didn't involve new locations, different stuff. So I thought, what better way than to do a Monopoly style community chest with Sawyer, and Sawyer, and to have an inheritance be sent your way from your favorite lawyer on retainer. I was like, this will be perfect. They'll do white glove. I'll do some notes. We'll do some gags with notes at the very beginning. And that's when I discovered, I was like, I'm going to do this trick on Mud and I'm going to have them bring him a book. I was like, yes. I was like, I'm going to have him bring the book. So like, I'm going to give him the crit on 19, but this is going to be hilarious in how he goes. And when I read it was like, the simplicity, advanced simplicity, like what kind of backhanded shit is that? It was like, perfect. So I'm going to have his come from Gorbash and check on him for a minute and craft that out. You guys did awesome on picking it up. Just to let you know, Josiah, those stack. So when you fire like cross station, that arrow stacks with whatever you send it with cross station. That's the arrow's independent property. So
that's hot.
You got 5 bombs in there that you can have fun with.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of focus on the axe, and I think obviously because we're diving into some lore with Gitzi and like that connection, and it's super important. But I'm not gonna lie, I was like, man, that quiver is freaking cool. I'm like, the fact that you can like mold things together and be like, I have magma. Like, I'm like, this is so cool. Like, what?
It's a big hit over the shrimp pistol.
I'm looking at that ooze ammo real close. Don't make fun of my shrimp pistol.
That's nice.
That's
all day long.
Really show
That
off.
shrimp pistol, you know it does.
That was the best.
He knows how to use it. Good for him.
He knows how to use it.
Your little shrimp pistol. You don't ever say that in front of. It's just like, yeah, that's great.
Your shrimp
People
pistol
would
is
have more
perfect for
questions of
me.
why Gitzi knows anything about your shrimp pistol.
It's not the size; it's how you use it.
Too many questions. That's why I told you not to bring it up. That's why we don't talk about this in the bar, especially when it's full.
Yeah. I mean, yours being straightforward doesn't have a big lore attachment to it, but is worthy of an item eye. 5 replenishing arrows every day.
Jeez.
So now you're gonna be like, how do I get rid of these in a day? You got a lot of choices.
Yeah, I do.
And you get this, you'll set those at the beginning of the day. So just kind of in your session prep, be like, okay, this is what I'm rolling with today. These are the 5 arrows. It's not going to be a create an arrow on the spot. You're going to need to list it out and be like, okay, this is what I'm going to do.
All right, that's a challenge. All right, I'm going to put that note on there.
That you set it at the beginning of the day. You hope for the best. And be like, okay, this is what I'm going to have in the quiver for today. So then it gives, there's still some risk reward. It's not on the fly. Okay, I need this.
It was almost with the way you described it as that I can pick it on the fly. I was thinking, wow, this is the Hawkeye quiver of death. Like, what do I need? Bomb arrow? All right, here we go.
And it's still pretty much, because you're going to have most of what you can use. Like, I don't think you're ever going to not have something you probably don't want, but this will give you time to think like, what do I want to combine? Because that's the hard part. If you were put on a place there, it'll be much more difficult to be like, oh, I got a combination arrow like here. You'll be set. You're like, okay, I have these combos and then I have this. This is what I got. On top of all of that, we got to lay out how everyone kind of took their day. And it's interesting how everybody took their different paths up north. And Aelun totally focusing on the reconnaissance not being set up. Tell me this, Mud. What would have been a red flag to not gone into the store if there was one at all? What were you looking for?
I don't know if there was one. I think he just didn't want to get surprised by anybody. You know, he doesn't know this guy. He just says, "Hey, meet here," and he's had other encounters with the wolves, some of the wolves. So he just didn't want to be some sort of trap situation where he was lured in, and it looked like an obvious trap. So he didn't see anything like that. People were like waiting to jump him, outside the alley or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, you lucked out. I mean, you would have trapped yourself by Mikolos looking at your new fresh tattoo that didn't exist there the next day.
Yeah.
But covers wonderfully for everyone else.
Right.
And I knew we always wanted to call back to the wolf that you encountered and talk down, no matter what. But it's great that you met the night before the full moon, and holding to his word, he's not going to touch you until the job is done at Crimson Days, which is an obvious ambush on this massive outdoor festival that they look to turn into a bloodbath. And what more fitting than this werewolf that wants to square off with you in this complete moment of chaos.
Yeah, I think that's interesting because he wants to square off with Aelun, but as far as like Aelun and Rook is concerned, they already, with a howl scared off him and all of his cronies, and he already mentioned that he had a boss or someone greater than him. So as far as Aelun and Rook are concerned, like they'll fight him, but it's not their prime target.
And that is 100% going to be Aelun and Rook's biggest mistake, going in and underestimating what they're capable of and what other people are. So it's going to be a good play out that you think this is
guy,
fine.
We already just chased this guy off once. He told me there's someone stronger than him, so he's not worried about it.
Damn.
I think it'll be an interesting situation because obviously he's in this situation where they're gonna go, do some terrible things, but he's here out of his curiosity for getting power and being stronger, and so we'll have to see, how far that desire goes.
There's going to be some rolls.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it'll be some decisions made as well.
Going to matter too, just how close you are to Gitzi, the one you've made promises to. It's going to be very, very interesting next week as we get into a just complete chaos moment, which I'm stoked for, which we don't know.
No one knows. But
No one.
Aelun knows.
Not a single clue.
Hey, dude, I'm living my best life, getting ready for the party of my life.
I love it. Yeah, I love it.
Hold on. Let's be clear though. We still don't know why we woke up in lava that other time either.
I'm not saying it is a bad thing. I'm just saying we don't. The only one that knows any remote thing is Aelun.
We're a bunch of secret keepers.
I think this one it was getting away from that. It was like, okay, you know what? We're gonna take some time to not dwell.
Yeah.
On
I feel like
everything.
Mine's like personal, like it really affected me deeply. And this is like, we're gonna massacre a bunch of people at a party. It's like I'm like I get to that point. Like I could open up and say these things, and he could open up, but like I love the story, and I can't wait until at the other side of this, if we live or whatever. And then he's like, "Oh yeah, I knew this was going to happen, like 3 days ago." I'm like, "What? Wait, what?" It's like, but I needed to find out what was going on. I could handle it. It's fine. Like I see Aelun doing that, and I'm just like, it's fucking beautiful. It's like it's so pure to him, and like his kind of like, I just love the way you describe that of like, oh, I've already handled this. I don't need to handle this. Where's your boss?
Yeah,
he's
there. He wants to become more powerful, and fight the most powerful people or werewolves or whatever, and is willing to go a pretty good length, to get there, and morality is not necessarily his strongest suit. So
Sure. So question, because I was wondering about this. Is part of it you feel like you have to let this happen so that you get the opportunity to meet the boss? Because if you try to shut this down ahead of time, you're not going to have that opportunity. Is that part of it? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably a line of thinking, but I that's why I mentioned earlier that I think there will probably have to be choices made for him next week about how far he's willing to let to go to get the things that he wants, and how much he cares about those things.
And who knows, out of this group, how many people are here on their own free will and accord? How many people just have lycanthropy and can't or don't have a choice in this that have become a part of this? It'll be interesting to see who's active, who's not. With you being there a little bit earlier, there's going to be able to get a little bit of a pulse on this, on this tribe and this push and some of the players within it before it unfolds. But I won't lie.
I also don't know what it is either. Like really how extensive it is. Are they just attacking key people, key targets? Or are they just like everything? We don't know. I think so. I mean, that's what it's leaning towards. But I mean, there's not really been that much details. We just know that shit's going down.
They're attacking the Crimson Days Festival. So it's an outdoor. People are going to be with their guard down in the upper city. Another tactile approach. But I am ready for the chaos when it breaks. And you'll have to pick us up there next week as we get into it. Appreciate you all. You killed it. Great RP episode. We will see all you on the flip side. Take care.